for Chef Sicily Johnson.
Thank you. All right. So, wait, let me get in. Okay, cool. I'm Chef Sicily, and our organization is the Kind Kitchen Group, and we believe that we're a place where food meets purpose. I'm also going to talk really fast to give you back your time. Okay, so let's talk about me. I've been cooking for 20 years, and I'm wildly obsessed with how food and people intersect. I think it's the most fascinating thing, how people eat, how they show up in the kitchen, and it's because I can trace my family back 7 generations to Roe Duncan, who was enslaved on a plantation, and he was their cook. And between he and I, there were a bunch of, I was gonna say kick-ass women, you know, kick-ass women between us. Some of them own speakeasies, restaurants, and some of them simply opened their homes to support people who had nowhere to go. So I am obsessed with food emotionally and logistically. So I left acting, my first career, and I went to culinary school. I graduated from the Cordon Bleu with high honors. I served a double internship at the LA Times Test Kitchen, and that was probably my favorite job at the mall because we got to interact with the reader, back when people used to read the paper. And they would experience food and talk about what they loved in a restaurant and how to make it at home. Then I went on to do food trucks and food styling, and I opened a business with my mother under the nonprofit La Cucina, and it was called Pinky and Reds because her hair is pink and my hair is red. It was innovative. But we only hired students because we were on Cal's campus in Berkeley, California, and we worked around their school schedule. We also partnered with a food pantry. And we realized that what good is a food pantry if you're housing insecure? So we created a voucher program for young people to be able to get hot meals. And then I moved to New York and opened a restaurant that only hired mothers and worked around their SNAP benefits. And we turned our basement into a daycare to make sure that they didn't have to pay for childcare. So food has always had a responsibility to me. And so this is my last hurrah. I'm not in kitchens anymore, and this is the end-all be-all for me. And we launched Kind Kitchen Group, and it's a culinary education program that's fortified in social emotional learning. Initially, I thought I was gonna work with adults. I thought like teaching people how to run their restaurants and supporting home cooks was gonna be my jam, until one day, a 6th grade ELA teacher at my daughter's middle school said, "That's a terrible idea, you should work with the young people because we're tight." And I said, "Okay, fine, tell me what's your idea." And she said we should start an after-school program. And the very thing that we were trying to give adults, we should mind the gap for young people. And I feel like it was the best pivot and the best decision that we ever made, because we really could be the door for our young people in a way that we had never seen before, and give them a place where they could show up and think and discover who they are. So when we talk about our impact, we typically say that people come for the food and they stay for the identity, right? Because when we were training people in restaurants, we would see that it had nothing to do with food at all, why people struggled and their apprehension of cooking. It was about identity and who they saw that they were and who they weren't. So we've been able to take that same mindset and support our young people in the kitchen and ask them a lot of questions. They tell me that I talk in parables all the time. And I think that we're able to do this because of our partnerships. We're super strategic about our partnerships, and we're very much like, who all gonna be there? We don't just partner with anybody. And we have a core, thanks so much for that. We do have a core curriculum, but it's constantly adaptable. So when we go into a school, we sit down with the school and it's like, do you want to do 4, 6, 28 weeks or anything like that? And we mold our program to support our young people, to give them a platform to stand on. Okay, so I'm really hyped about this. This is our implementation timeline, because we started in August of 2023, and this year meant a lot to us because we moved into our own space full-time, and our founding group started high school this year. So in 2025, when they were heading out of middle school, they got their food handler's license. So all of them have passed their food handler's license with an 89% or better. And they began, but they trained our summer camp students. And so they supported 150 students across 8 weeks, teaching them the very thing that they had experienced. And it was really a proud moment for us. And this year we are scaling back, and we are expanding our days in all of our school partnerships. And our students this year are working collaboratively between middle and high school, and they're developing their first cookbook. Challenges and mitigations, and I was saying this to someone tonight. When we grow our program, we think very strategically about how we grow it, and the fact that we don't want to introduce something rad to young people and then be like, okay, see you later, figure it out on your own. So we're constantly growing our program with them in mind. Like us moving into our space, we only host summer camp in our space. We do not provide outside programming during the school year because we also understand that like we need to be a space for transportation because we understand that supporting our students is supporting our families, and we're childcare for them. So they know when they get dropped off at school at 8 o'clock in the morning, they have somewhere to be until they're 5. So if we can't think about the whole person and the whole family, we're actually not gonna expand and grow. Okay, my ask. It's $532,000. This is because we want to hire more chefs, instructors. It's like the Holy Trinity, not like Jesus and we're like onions, bell pepper, and celery. None of that matters. But like, because we know that having culinary chefs teach them a hard skill, academic teachers making it make sense for them and relevant in their present lives right now, and social workers are super important. In addition to that, we also we give one, take one. We give them something to do when they come out of our program every day. They have something that's done. And then we give them something to do to send home with their families. So it shows their parents that you can actually do a thing on your own. And then it's your responsibility to support them when they get at home. They also get toolkits. So all of our hand tools and things, if you saw the videos on like the really rad wall behind me when you RSVP, they get all of that stuff in their toolkit to take home with them, and they get 4 textbooks, including their groceries every year. So this also supports that. And we have supported since August of 2023 over 4,600 students. And like,